Welcome back to Super Dirt Week 52 post-race press conference here on DIRTtrackDigest.tv and live on Facebook and YouTube. We are joined by Steve Post and the winner of the DIRTcar Pro Stocks, Devin Kamengay. Devin, you took him to school.
I'm taking him to school.
He's been waiting. He's been waiting to use that line.
The second you told me, it was on.
Yeah, Devin used to be a teacher, so that's the story there, folks. We've already got the Chuckle Hut has been represented here tonight. We're good to go.
I'll be honest, it's probably the best car I've had since Port Royal at the beginning of the season.
Really?
We as soon as I took that first corner and we had really good side play, I was like, all right, we're going to be okay in the position that I was, and knew that we were going to be able to race hard to the end.
What all you mentioned side bite, but what all does a good car have to do here at this racetrack?
So you need a couple of different things.
Yeah.
One, you need enough side bite when a track is slick like this. So actually, I stole Shane Playford's idea. He showed me how he grooved his right rear tire. So we're all parked together.
Sure.
Him, Luke, and I. We're always at the track together. We have such a good time. And he's like, I want you to look at my right rear tire. He goes, that's what I'm doing. And Luke does some crazy sipes too on the right side. And I typically don't do anything because I'm the third man out, and I'm usually happily settling for third. Yeah. And so I grooved it that way. And then we did a couple of small changes from the heat race too, spacer wise and shocks and things like that. And just so we wanted the car to roll to get enough side bite, just so it's not washing up the track. You see a couple of guys probably in that feature that when they try to go in too hard, that you just lose grip and you just wash up, and all you're doing is chasing the car. You're just waiting for it to grab something. And if you're not doing it with a brake, then you're just waiting on it.
No, that's neat. You mentioned that. How important is it to maintain momentum around this track, though? Is this a big momentum track for you guys?
Yeah, especially when the track gets slick like this, because the last thing you want to do is you can't charge the corner as hard as you want and then get on the brake to turn the car. So what I try to do is where that hole has been in turn one all week, they did a great job fixing it, repairing it after last night, but it was still it's all like a fresh and moist clay, so I could put my left sides in it and it would actually yank my car to the left. So I tried to hit that every time, and I could burp the throttle, and it would give me a little bit of momentum off of turn one. And here you just can't break traction. And so we were humming and hawing, three of us down at the trailers. We were humming and hawing what we want to do for gear. And Shane's like, "You pretty confident with the gear that you're running?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think for the way
maybe
that
a little mind game at the same time."
No, I don't know. I don't know. We talk each other out of so much stuff, or we're always busting on each other. But I'm like, I can't. I don't want the wheel spin. Most guys will go up in gear because they want something to come off. But when I knew as soon as the first 358 mod LCQ went out there, they shined the track off instantly. And I'm like, there isn't going to be anything out there. So I want to go with what I originally thought, and that's what I did. So I kept my gear in, and then we did just a slight change from yesterday as far as wheel spacers and stuff, and then luckily we had the perfect shock package.
Well, that's what I was going to mention too, because you could drive it in too deep and overcook it. You weren't doing that. You were nice and smooth, but it seemed like your car did have, despite the lack of grip, a really good drive off, and it seemed to be the difference at times.
Yeah, so I keep saying this, and I'm gonna credit Matt Williams the best that I can, right? Because I watched him yesterday. I probably watched him for I don't know how many laps, only because he's a phenomenal race car driver, but I felt like he could sail his car in kind of on the bottom and then just roll the car. At least in 1 and 2, and then there's a crest in the track, right? So if you go up and about midway, it just picks up a little bit. I picked up on this last year. They did the exact same thing, and I could put my right side tires just on that crest, and even though it's all blacked off, it just gave you just a little bit enough side grip to where you could point the car and then just slowly roll back in the throttle. I mean, I was actually pointing the nose of the car to the outside wall to pick up the throttle, because you only had about that much grip of dirt right up against the wall, but that's what I was aiming for.
So you were aiming for that change in elevation, just enough to feel it and then take off.
And even in turn 3, it was a little choppy and rough, but if you threw the car in too hard, you were going to chase it. I did do that a couple of laps, but it wasn't significant enough to take me all the way up to the top like some of the guys that were battling in the back.
I noticed on the restarts, especially the last one, you chose the outside lane. Is that just where you wanted to? It just felt like you could get down through 1 and 2. Well, it seemed like once you got out of 2, you were in pretty good shape then.
Yeah, I after the first and second restart, even there's a couple times actually Richie beat me to the line, and then I think one time he had a whole car length in me into turn 1. The difference is from as a racer today as maybe a few years ago is I would have lifted just to see what he did, and nobody would have faulted him for creeping up. I just stayed my foot into the throttle to make sure I got right up where he could see me, and I don't want to say I pinched him off, but I did not give him any room because that's the lane I needed to be in, and I think that's the difference between a younger racer and somebody who's got a little bit more experience. And not to mention, I've raced with Richie for, I don't know, since I started racing like 2014, something like that. So we go back a ways, and he gave me enough respect and gave me enough room that we could race each other.
Well, let's be honest. It's a business decision. We all, at the end of the day, have 2 pedals in our cars. You got to sometimes force them to use the other one, and that's kind of what you had to do at some point.
Yeah, and it's Oswego.
Yeah.
So I was so nervous. I'm ready to throw up in my car as we're waiting up on the ramp, and I don't get nervous for anything, and Shane's making fun of me, and the guys he's got them all laughing because I won't get out of my car. I'm like closing my eyes, and I'm just thinking, don't throw up, and I don't get nervous, and I was more nervous about what I was going to do on that first lap, at which lane I was going to pick, because you wouldn't think it's a big deal. So I kept telling myself, I was like, it's just another race. It's just another race. I kept saying that to my father and over again. And then I was like, well, it's Oswego, but it's just another race,
Well, that was going to be a follow-up question. What in terms of races in your career, where does this rank? Is this it?
Oh yeah, this is the top, We had a really phenomenal start to the year. We went down to Port Royal, we won. Coming off a high of last year, we had 5 wins. And which I only won 1 race 4 years prior to that at Fonda, and we just hit on something last year, and it kind of gives you a little bit of confidence. And then this year we started out the year with a bang at a big race down south, and then we struggled in the middle. We got another win at Utica Rome this year, but really the last month, 6 weeks have been brutal. I couldn't finish a dirt race. I couldn't. We just weren't going well. It was bad driver decisions. The car wasn't set up right, or I made a bad call and we changed something that we shouldn't have changed. And it was been a rough month, but the last 4 days have been really good.
What was that switch? What made these last 4 days special? Like, what was that change?
Well, I mean, some of it is maintenance. I'm building a new race shop, construction business, and I'm building an apartment for my daughter, and so I haven't been able to do the maintenance that really is required to be done on the car. I mean, even yesterday, my father, my brothers were here. We're stripping the whole car, and Dad's like, "Hey, you got a broken ball joint," and I'm like, "Oh, jeez, Hey, we found 2 plug wires that were frayed almost all the way through. They must have been arcing off the top." So so we just went through every single thing yesterday, and I spent 2.5 hours doing tire prep and the way it's supposed to be done, and then probably the number one thing is my shock guy, Dave from Eagle One. Phenomenal. He took all the shocks off, and every year we freshen them anyway when we're here. And he's like, "Hey, by the way, you had 3 bad shocks on your car, and they're the most important ones: the right front, the right rear, and the left rear. We're all bad."
Boy.
Wow.
So that changes the handling too. And a week ago, I talked to Shane. I was like, "Bud, I said I'm going to go to Oswego and get lapped." And so we put it back on the scales, and it has been on the scales since the wintertime. Because I really go by the feel and not by what the scale numbers are, because I like that balance, and then we just kind of adjust from. And I don't do crazy adjustments anyway. We're not at the track jacking wedge and stuff out of it. We don't typically do that. But so it's been a bunch of different things, but the last few days, having yesterday off was phenomenal. We could go through the whole thing and find all those little dinky things.
I find that absolutely amazing. Just the sheer number, and one of those things.
Yeah.
One of those things could have cost you what this has been today.
Absolutely.
Hey, folks watching and viewing on this is an interactive show.
Yeah.
So if you have a question, type it in. Just get in there and type it in. We've got some comments from the Peanut Gallery. Some folks that like Mike Mallett. So we know that's
the
Peanut
Hard Clay
Gallery.
Observer is in full force here tonight.
Exactly.
Saw that.
But so if you've got a question, type it in here. So so you win the race. What's it been like since then, though?
It's been I've gotten a lot more attention than I did on my wedding day. Put it that way.
Wow, nice. Well, there you go.
No, it's been great. A lot of it is mostly the drivers in the class. I love this class so much. And I've been racing with them for quite some time. And there was a time where I was really, really bad and didn't know any better, to the time where I just wanted – and I've spent years talking to every single one of these guys and learning how they race and this and that, because I was a racing fan. You know, I grew up in Central New York. I watched Mitch Gibbs. He lived in our backyard. My father worked on his team. Yeah. That's all we did. We didn't go on family vacations. We didn't do anything. So I was a huge racing fan. So it took me – I was 30 years old. I bought an old car from Bet Belden that was a bent chassis in his backyard. And we put it together. Oh. Yeah. We're related. So, well, I feel like I'm related to everybody out there. But anyway, it took a long time. So I'm just a racing fan, and it took me a long time to get good. And just learning from different drivers. And for whatever reason, I can't remember how many years ago, 6 years ago now, Luke, just for whatever reason, was like, hey, I think we should help this guy. You know, Luke has always been great to me, and I know people have different opinions of him, but man, that guy would
he's
give
an
me
awesome
the shirt
guy.
off his back.
We had him here earlier today, and he'll bust balls, but he's also the shirt off your back kind of guy.
He brought Shane with him, and Shane started setting up my car, and we just felt better. We started gaining, and you know, I wasn't even a good driver until Luke taught me a bunch of stuff. I've learned stuff from Kenny Gates. I've learned stuff from Nick Stone. I've learned stuff from so many different guys. And I'm not saying that I drive like them, because I don't. And those guys are twice as talented. Josh Coonrad, those guys have way more talent to me. I need a really, really good car to keep pace with those guys. But over the years, I've started to learn this, like what are the little nuances at each track. And, you know, traveling in the series and racing all over the Northeast, I feel like we have a nice notebook, and I got a nice little bit of knowledge. And with this class, you're a little bit off, though. You're out to lunch.
So you've seemed to dialed in what works for you.
Yeah, I'm not a flashy driver. Shane makes fun of me all the time that you're so boring to watch, you know. And I really am. I can't do anything flashy. I don't like my car out of shape, throwing in sideways, kicking up rooster tails and stuff like that. That's not how I drive, and that's not how I set up. And I'm not fast that way. So, in fact, they always joke that every year the track was heavy. Anytime we went to a track that was heavy, I was horrible, because I could not just chuck it in there like those other guys could. And this year's been a little bit better. This car's had some speed in bite. And
Paul DeMott, watching on Facebook Live, says he loves your racing philosophy, that you just started, but you're willing to learn, and you've taken a little bit from every driver and kind of applied to your own car, and you just won on the biggest stage.
So, yeah, it feels so surreal. But, I want people to know, and I know my father knows, my brothers know, is that I genuinely like these guys. I'm not looking for – these are guys I talk to on Messenger and Facebook. I mean, I talk to these guys all the time. So we talk to them over in the off-season and be like, hey, how's the car going? Send me pictures. I've gotten to know Pete Stefanski really well through the series the last 2 years.
Series champion, Pete Stefanski?
Yep, series champion once again. Damn, man, that old man. I tell you, no, phenomenal racer.
After the 2 weeks he's had to get it done after the wreck he had it folded, is unreal.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, I thought for sure he'd go back and tear his car apart and he'd do whatever he can, but it must have been pretty bad to do that.
Bad.
But it's awesome to have guys like Stalker step in and be like, hey, I'll offer you my car, and I'm sure he probably would have other offers if Stalker didn't step up.
I don't know necessarily if this is a question, but we did the show prior to it. We had 4 or 5 drivers here, and it just seems to me, and I travel the world. I travel the country. I see racing all the time. I don't see a lot of this camaraderie in racing. I see a lot of competitiveness, and generally with any group, organization, and sprinter, there's guys that are at each other and everything. It's fascinating to hear every one of you guys talk about we race hard, but boy, we have fun. We teach each other, and we work with each other as well.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean that we haven't had that or we don't do that. Yeah,
you guys seem to get over it pretty quickly.
Where there was a battle, a struggle, but it seems like it's kind of dissipated a little bit. I mean, you're going to have your outliers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
it's racing.
But let's be honest, right? The more competitive classes get is because it's about money. We're racing for a couple $1,000s. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it sounds really good on paper, but I mean,
End of the day, you might still be in the red.
I might have broken even with winning tonight. So
well, I think that's fascinating, and we've talked a lot about it. I do a sprint car show, and sprint car the money has gone wild in sprint car racing.
Man,
so has the.
I'm a big Rico fan. So,
are you? Cool.
Yeah,
Rico's
my son is
awesome.
a little person too. So
is he really?
We go down and we hang out with Rico for a little bit every year. We go down there, but
Rico,
it's phenomenal.
We are a lucky world to have Rico Abreu in our world.
He's just a nice, genuine human being. You know what I mean? So it's so cool that he takes the time and he always comes out of his trailer and he asks my son Seamus. He's like, "How's lacrosse going? You know, he graduated."
Yeah,
like,
it's not a game with Rico. I mean, and he understands. It's real personal. Like you say, we ask about lacrosse and how things are going. He remembers and knows the story.
He figures out that NASCAR didn't end up being the path I thought it was going to be. He realizes that this is going to be my life. This is what I'm going to make a living out of. So he's probably knows enough guys like Tony Stewart and Kyle Larson and all those guys and I'm sure they've probably said, listen, some of these things you have to do. And he's figured out very quickly that I need to be personable. I need to be available. I need to be a nice, clean driver. I need to,
checks all the boxes.
He's got all the tools.
But it's a great family too. I don't know the rest of his family.
Yeah.
I've met his wife a couple times. She has no idea who I am. I mean,
I think that's awesome. And I think your point about the money getting involved in this thing and the reality of it is, and my point on the sprint car world, and I'm with you on Rico, but sprint car world has gotten a lot of money to it, but there's got a lot of angst to it as well. It's gotten it's got a little chippy in a lot of places and that sort of thing, and it's really good to hear. So is this like a perfect spot for you? Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to climb the ladder, everyone wants to do this. You got a late start with it, but is this like really a perfect niche spot for you? It fits the budget, fits the time, fits everything in your life?
Yeah. So, listen, my dream I would love to race 358.
Sure.
But my budget wouldn't even cover probably the tire bill.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
That's where I could probably put one together with maybe with an engine sponsor or something. But as soon as you wreck it, you're done. You know.
Right. Yeah.
But the nice thing with the pro stock classes, I love the guys, but I'm in a position now that I can go wherever I want. I can race wherever I want. I can get whatever I want. I mean, if I blew an engine tomorrow, I'm calling up Ingram's and I'm going down there and get it. So it's a nice mix that when you have the availability, that you have the budget to do whatever it is you want to repair the car or do whatever it is you have to do. Shane would be great if I wadded up and said, Shane, I need a front clip. Can you get it done in 4 days? He'd be like, absolutely. You know what I mean? So I don't have as many obstacles anymore.
No.
Right? So
it's perfect.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not.
You're not
sleeping
rolling
out of
it.
I'm not sleeping out of bed of $100 bills every night, but it's
it works for you and your team and your family.
Yep.
And that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
And I have such a great time traveling with Shane and Luke anyway.
Yeah.
Because we always park together. We cook out, and they always have their families and stuff there. My kids are all older, so I'm the old man in the group, believe it or not. So I'm older than they are. But yeah, it's a really great group of guys to be with and hang out.
Ray Richter coming in. Congrats on the win.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's my Friday night friend out at Utica Rome,
nice.
I think. Yep, nice. Number 44. So he's picking up the pace, too, He's just a guy that just loves racing out at Utica Rome.
Yeah. That's cool. Awesome. You grew up watching Mitch Gibbs. I grew up watching Mitch Gibbs too. I grew up. I was 5 Mile Point Speedway was my home track.
Yeah,
so
that was his stomping ground for a while.
Yeah, and so I grew up.
The
I grew up
2G.
watching. Yeah, the 2G man. I'll tell you what. I remember, and at that point, we had the Chuck Akulises, the Carl Nagels in the world. So Mitch was that superstar kid, that came into it. And it's just funny how things evolve. And I love the connections on that.
So was that when he raced the 320 series back in the 80s, or was it?
It was the 80s. It was he ran some 5 Mile Point, but then he didn't run 5 Mile for a long time because he went out on I think it was the Ithaca Gun 320 series, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean,
I
was younger. Yeah, I mean, we spent every Saturday night at Fonda Speedway.
Fonda Speedway, yeah.
So I'd sit in turn 4, play my Matchbox cars down in turn 4.
And that's how it starts.
Yeah, I'd wait. And my mom gave me $1. I went down. I got my picture of Jack Johnson, and so that's just I still have my whole binders full of pictures from all those guys. I love guys like Jack Cottrell, Harry Peak. I grew up with all those racers. They were my idols.
Man, we had 5 Mile Point Speedway. This was back in the era. This was back in the era where these guys did a lot of traveling, and we'd go to 5 Mile Point, and there'd be rumbling that Fonda got rained out. And so we'd be sitting there, and we
Rumble
watch
down
up
the
Francis
thruway.
Street, and in would come Dave Lape, and in would come Jack
Oh, yeah.
Johnson, and in would come Mitch, and in would come, you'd be sitting there, I'm a kid, it's like, oh my God, his 5 mile point was badass as it was at the time, and then you throw those guys into it, and that's when we handicapped. So those guys,
they were starting in the back.
got through the heat race, they're starting 18th, 19th,
Oh,
and
yeah.
20th
Yep.
with Akulis and Nagel and Colston and everyone in front of them, and you just knew you were in for a war. Such a cool time, but and everyone says, you live in the past and everything, but man, you're doing the same thing today.
So you bring up a good point. So we went up to Canandaigua. The series went
Yeah.
up to Canandaigua first time in 17 years. The car cut was a little bit lower than the average, but man, it was what a great place, fun track to race. Yeah. And Steve Payne I went over and bought fuel, and Steve Payne was there at the trail. Yeah, wow. And so I'm there talking to him. I said, listen, I got a question to ask you, because he was at that end of all those things. It's like, how is it possible that so many big-name drivers won that many races, let's say from the time of 82 to about 96, 97, right? Because, and I have this conversation with my father all the time. We're sitting at the table. I'm like, Dad, just start listing off names of, and these aren't names that people even think of, but they were big, like Ray Delmata, right?
Ray Delmata,
How many races did he win? Harry Peak was kind of a big name. I don't know. He wasn't at the prestige level of a Jack Johnson. And then you go to every single one of those tracks, and I'm like, there's 4 or 5 guys that won over 200 races. Mm-hmm. Dale Plank.
Donnie Wetmore, Barefoot Bob.
Right. So it's like, and my father finally told me, he's like, because back then you raced 5-6 nights a week.
No doubt.
Right. You had Rolling Wheels, you had Weed Sport, you had all those big series races, and then you had, dirt. I was just a little kid. I didn't realize how big dirt was in the 80s and early 90s.
Oh my
and
gosh,
then they kind of branched
everywhere.
out to, what was it, the Winston Cup Series or something, when they kind of separated a little
the
bit.
Skull Series. Then you had the Outlaw Circuit with Utica Rome and Fulton. And Oh, yeah.
So even everywhere. Billy Decker.
Yep. The Franklin Flyer. My childhood hero.
And then you start thinking of guys like that people wouldn't even think of, but where I was, maybe they weren't a huge name on big circuits, but Todd Burley.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many races did he win?
Yeah. But you take what Todd Burley won, and then you throw in what Dave Lape won, and we throw in what Jack Johnson won, and you throw in what Harry Peak won, and everything. And you're like, how many times these guys race?
Right.
The math
how do they have that many wins? So I know we're getting off the subject, but I
just think it's fascinating.
I feel like I lived in the best part of dirt racing.
The best era.
You know what I mean? Absolutely.
All right, I'm getting on my soapbox here. I'm getting on my soapbox because you're preaching now. We're preaching now. We've gone from a show to preaching, okay? My dad, I grew up, we went to 5 Mile Point Speedway. We'd come up to Weed Sport. We'd do Super DIRTcar Series races, went to all the tracks and everything. And my old man was like, we don't even realize how good modified racing is. We don't even realize how good our dirt tracks are here and everything. Okay? I'm so fortunate I get to do what I do, the sprint car show, super late models, asphalt, pavement, dirt, Cup Series, Xfinity, and everything. I'm sitting in the stands an hour ago, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I don't even think the old man was right then. I think he was right then, but I think my old man, if he was still alive, would be sitting here and it'd still be right.
It's pretty good right now.
Racing is so good.
Yeah.
What you guys did this afternoon, what those 358s did tonight, I'm sitting there and I say, I go to a lot of races. This is race number 140, I think, for me this year, or something stupid like that. I go to that. I don't remember seeing 2 back-to-back races just that good with different cars. Yeah. And I love talking about the good old days and living in the good old days, but these days right here are pretty good also.
Yeah.
And I think with social media and the fact that a lot of this stuff is live streamed now, it's just helping us out. It's bringing more eyeballs to this style of racing for sure.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, cool. And I reminded Dean Reynolds at the 10th the other day. I was like, that I think Pete Stefanski had 2 wins this year. I said out of 8 races, I said there's a different winner every week.
Which is good. The only 2-time winner. Yeah,
and it's been close racing. We had some close finishes. Yeah, so I think that's a good plus for our class too. Listen, nobody can take anything away from the guys that have been dominated in modified class the last few years. They're just hell of a racers. They got good programs, but I feel like it's better from a fan's point of view when you got multiple winners or it's close racing side by side.
And there's no bones about it. You have the talent to go racing at that level. So does cousin Luke, But
that's just that
if
budget.
it's your
I don't know if I have the talent. I had a phenomenal car.
After tonight, I think you do. I'm telling you, you do.
Maybe if I'm racing at Oswego every weekend.
That is cool stuff. It really, truly is. It's just it's fascinating to me the whole journey of how getting here and then seeing what you guys did this afternoon. I mean, and then hearing the camaraderie to me is just absolutely amazing. So.
Yeah, because I mean they're not paid crews coming in here.
No.
We don't have engineers. We don't have. I mean, even Bob Oliver stopped over. He stops over every year. He says, "Hey, do you need anything for your carburetor?" Because he does our carbs and our shop guy's parked down next to us too, and he's there readily available. He's like, "Let me know if you need to test. What's it doing?" So it's nice to have all the people, but we're not. They're not on salary or payroll or nothing like
They're
that.
They're here for the love of the sport.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that really struck me about this Pro Stock races. Super Dirt Week started in 72, 73, and it started as weekend warriors having a big show. Mm-hmm. And I'm with you. What the Matt Williamsons and that part of this sport do full-time professional is absolutely amazing and to be respected and to be lauded. And that's where it's like this Pro Stock thing. Weekend warriors having your big stage, having your big show, and I just think that's I just think that's really, really cool.
So I think guys like Richie Crane, the Caseys, Shane, his Luke, they don't do anything else. You know what I mean? So they're devoted to racing. Most of it, we're all business owners. We all work for ourselves. We're all self-employed. You know what I mean? We all. Guess what? I won Super Dirt Week. There isn't going to be a parade for me or nothing like. I'm not kissing it.
There will be next week or next year. There will be next year.
I'm not kissing any babies or
you
something.
You got Monday off. Work on Tuesday.
Actually, Monday I got to go to Fulton now.
Oh no!
I'll be up at the Kevlin engine dyno. So
all right,
that's good, man. That is awesome. But I think that's the thing. And by the way, Bo was telling us there is a parade. You said there's no parade. There'll be a parade next week.
Next year. Yeah,
the parade next year.
Yeah, get the banner, right?
Yeah, I'll get the banner.
Exactly.
I asked the banner. I said, have you peeked at the banner?
Yeah,
past that'll be you next year.
Yeah.
You'll be, hey, there's me.
There's apparently billboards out on the highways too. There's apparently billboards with Bo on it there, so maybe next year you'll have a billboard with you and whoever picks up the win here tomorrow night.
Yeah, so it sounds like I should get a tire sponsor out of it, right? No, I got the person parked right behind me. She owns a liquor store, and she started coming, I think, 2 years ago, or maybe last year was her first year. So she left me 3 bottles of champagne at the back.
You know,
she's at the
all right.
She has her business right next to my house out in Troy, New York. So I see her almost every week, and she said, "Oh, I'm looking forward to going," and blah blah blah. So it's kind of cool to have them somebody that they know that they're racing, and so it was great to see the people who come and congratulated me and things like that, cool. And just the drivers and some of their car owners and things like that. So just a real surreal experience, and it's definitely. This is the highlight of my career so far.
Awesome. Well,
so far, there's the key.
So far, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know how it gets any better unless there hasn't been a repeat winner in Oswego ever, right?
Well, there we go.
Bo was trying, and
Bo.
Did not.
Listen, and I think we were all nervous about Bo, because he just looks so good in his heat, and I talked to him and say, what was going on, and that was a tricky track. I said they couldn't get it, and they pushed it just a little too much. They'd go right to the top, just chasing the car, and we just had enough grip and side bite to keep us going.
Awesome. Well, we're not going to hold you from celebrating any farther.
I got beer to drink, guys.
There
all
you
right,
go.
come on.
There's some champagne over there too, apparently too. So maybe that's
you got some champagne and beer to drink.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I do.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the win.
Yeah,
well
thank
deserved.
you very much,
Congratulations.
gentlemen.
Good hearing your story, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Gosh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Awesome. Good deal.
Gavin Kamengay, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the DIRTcar Pro Stock 50, and now he's forever and a champion here at the Clay Palace. So our coverage rolls on here for our DIRTtrackDigest.com post-race show. We have some Facebook comments on there. I saw an invitation, Steve, to join the Hard Clay Observer. If you still love racing, don't join that page.
No, I know, yeah. Watching from New Milford, Pennsylvania, my hometown. Okay, great to see the Postman. Miss the old days at Penn Can. Yeah, I had a lot of fun there at Penn Can. So, Clayton, glad you're tuned in from New Milford, Pennsylvania. That is awesome. That is awesome. So, Really, really cool. And there was another one rolling through here.
I saw another one that said if we had to add a class, what class would we add? I think this is DIRTcar Northeast Super Bowl.
What are you drinking? Oh, my God.
You like that,
I do, yeah, absolutely.
This is DIRTcar Northeast Super Bowl. I don't think we need to add a class. I think the 4 is enough. And then another one was like, would I like to see late models or sprint cars? I think we would. We talked about this yesterday. Yeah. We would flip a sprint car so hard out here. I don't think we'd ever see a sprint car here.
Yep.
It'd be fun to see a late model do maybe a hot lap session. But like I said, this is DIRTcar Northeast playground. I think we're good with the 4 classes we got.
Here's my problem with this, and I'm guilty of it like every other person in America. We want more. We want more. We want late model chance.
Tom, I'm not. I'm getting mine for free, actually. I have one of my teacher buddies over here with his cooler.
Wow.
If he wasn't having as much fun at Super Dirt Week as I can tell he's having, I'd have him come talk about it, but he's having a good time, him and his dad.
Steve, what are we drinking? Alligator Arms Mallett will not be paying for beers.
Nope, not going to happen.
I'm dry over here. I'm dry, but that's all right.
Hold on. I'll help you out.
Yeah. That's what friends are for. He's a giver that way.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll take care of you at some point tomorrow. Don't worry. I promise.
Drinking's just the gift that keeps on giving if you're got a camera rolling.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Hey, I know that whoever if we get we're still going through tech over there. That's the delay.
Yeah,
okay, that's what's going on. I was talking to George Smith. And the delay is that we have tech going on, and they're pulling heads. They're doing, tech,
as
what they should be doing, right? So that's why the delay that is going on.
They're checking louvers, Mike.
They're not checking louvers. I can tell you that. They are checking everything over there. So as they're doing that, we're waiting on that. And but great to hear from Devin. Congrats to him. I mean, so many times finishing in the top 3, third spot, whatever. So good for him to finally get the job done and grab that victory. I never knew that he was a teacher. I didn't know that. That was pretty awesome.
He started so late. He was in his 30s when he started.
I started in my 20s. I wish I started in my 30s.
No, I mean, I just think I think the pro stock stories are absolutely amazing. They just are story after story after story about guys. And ultimately what it does to me, it oozes to me, it just oozes of passion. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. It's just like, man, I said this on the show this afternoon, and I'll say it again. I have huge respect for the guys and gals who make millions of dollars racing cars. I have huge respect for the guys we'll watch tomorrow night that are making decent money doing it for a living. There's just this little bit more respect for the guys that are spending thousands of dollars to go race on a Saturday night. The passion for it, and just it's like Devin just said there. It's like Devin just said there. Even this is probably not even a break-even proposition.
No, look,
and that's to me I love that passion of an event like this and racers like this.
Yeah, I mean those are guys that normally typically race for $500 to $800, maybe $1,000 a night to go to the races, and we all know the expense of racing. That's
not covering you getting
That's
in
not
and
covering
maybe a
right.
crew guy or two.
That'll cover you, a crew guy, some fuel, maybe a tire. But you're literally doing it for the love of the sport. And
really good until something goes wrong, and then
right. Okay, so we're going to talk about the top 20 here from the Salute to the Troops 150. So, man, that could not be smaller on my screen. I need glasses. Matt Williamson, Matt Shepard, Alex Payne, Jimmy Phelps, Felix Waugh, the top 5 there. And then you've got Darren Smith. Hey, how about that? Thunder Mountain track champion. Don't forget Monster Bash on the Mountain coming up October 31st, November 1st. I can read Darren Smith's name. Don't you worry. Monster Bash on the $4,000 to win modifieds on Saturday, November 1st. It is the last modified race in the state of New York. Yeah, I got one fan. All right. Okay, so that is coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Don't worry, though. Eastern, it's not even my dad, Art. Okay, my producer talking in my ear. So Darren Smith coming home there in the 6th spot. Larry White 7th. 8th was Peter Britton. Ryan Godown, Jessica Fries in the top 10. Anthony Perego, Tim Fuller, Billy Dunn, Mark Johnson, Gary Lindbergh, the top 15, 16. I feel like I'm on College Game Day. I'm getting heckled up here. But
that's what we want to get the show to, but not one guy heckling us. We want.
Well, we can make his dad do it, too. He'll heckle me, too, if you want. 16th is Dalton Slack, Eric Rudolph, Zach Payne, Bobby Hackle, and Jordan McCready, your top 20. So that was the rundown today. I hear motors running.
Look at the movers and shakers on that list. If you could pop that graphic back up here real quick. And 21 positions gained by Matt Williamson. He started 22nd on the field.
Whoa. The more impressive run today, no offense to Matty, was Alex Jankowski.
Oh, my God.
He was the show.
From 41st all the way up to
third, I think he was.
Third, yeah, he got the third, 41st to third. And basically what happened is he was on pit road. Something happened with the starter. They banged on the starter with a hammer, and that's using a tool, unapproved adjustment on pit road, and he had to go to the rear. And as a result, he went to the rear, and he drove like a madman. And you could tell
when that almost took the pressure off.
Well, then there was an electrical issue which dropped him out of the race. I don't know if you could hear that back here. We could see it on the where I was. We could see it and hear it. And he talked in that interview, and you could tell he was not happy. He was not happy.
He was not in agreement with the call that put him to the back. But, man, he was rolling. I was curious when we got to lap 90 and had that pit stop. Prior to that and the speed they had, and I don't know the logistics of how far they can go or what they can do, but I am telling you, I wanted to see that race go on for a little bit longer because the way he was going forward, and obviously everyone made adjustments, made changes, and he certainly lost his momentum compared to everyone else after that. But
he had a great long run.
Yeah, he really did have a great long run car.
Postman, I'm looking at that comment down there. I don't know about that, man.
No, I'm sure.
I just told him don't
do
it.
Don't.
Yeah,
I find it hilarious, but they don't let.
His love for racing will be sucked out of him.
Yeah, no, you know what? I hate to say this. Is it Mark? Is it Mark Yeppel? Mark?
Yeah, Yeppel. Yeah, Yeppel was doing
I did that, and I think I left.
Yeah, quickly,
if I'm not mistaken.
You quickly pulled the ripcord on that one?
I think I did because I'm the the social media person. If there's negativity, I'm out. I'm just
There's enough of that in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I got on a soapbox this week. There's the girl from Oswego County Tourism. She sent me a note and appreciated it because there's a tourism page that just said this weekend is racing at Oswego. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it's the tourism page.
Right.
It's not Dirt Track Digest. It's not anything I do. It's the tourism page.
Yep.
And I'm reading down through this, and it's like, oh, I should have never left the mile. I'm like, well, we weren't racing the mile.
What choice do we have?
Yeah. It's like, oh, the racing is terrible there. And I'm sitting there, and I'm going, folks, this is not like a racing page. This is a tourism page.
Right.
And let's say I'm somebody that's casually interested in tourism.
Right.
What's going on this weekend? I'm not going to Oswego to sit by those
people about the mile.
I might sit next to that guy that's all bitching about things.
Yeah, right.
So
no, see, for me, like I've always tried to stay positive about the sport. You know, I took some flack a couple years ago because Eastern States. You know, that's one of my favorite events.
I love
I love Eastern States, and you know, look, the track conditions weren't ideal. Okay, but I chose to look past it. And I talked to the drivers. I understand their frustrations. It's just as frustrating as a fan because you want to see everything. Thanks for watching from Texas, Ron. You know, you want it to be a perfect show, right?
Yes,
you want everything to go perfect.
We all do. They do. Everyone does.
Right, but for me, I just looked at it as, what can I come out of this? What did I enjoy about this event?
Yeah.
Right? I got to work with Tim Pitts. Tim Pitts was the first co-announcer I ever worked with.
Really? That's cool.
That was my first guy. Tim taught me. You know, I worked by myself. My first race with him, I'm talking. He's like, dude, slow down, man. Okay, Afton was this big. Okay, this is this big. You can slow down. Okay.
Your words per minute can be dialed back.
Yeah, right. That was, you know, and then he taught me about going in the pits and talking to every driver. And, you know, I wrote about that, how I love working with Tim. You know, I love the event, the atmosphere. You know, Super Dirt Week is great, but for me, we're doing a lot of work. There's a lot going on. Yeah. You know, I think this is my second beer, maybe of the weekend, right? Like
I've had one.
Yeah, right. Like there's just so much going on. So you factor all that in. Like Eastern States, I'm there announcing. You know, my team is there. Our guys, they do a fantastic job with the broadcast. You know, my job, I work with Tim, and whatever Tim wants me to do, I do. You know, I go in there like, hey, this is awesome. Don't care. I'm with Tim. I'm at Eastern States, whatever you want. And then, you know, you go over, you enjoy the 31st lap. And I kind of hang out outside and just talk to people. That's what I do all night. I talk to people, you know,
absolutely.
And you catch up with all these people you don't see a lot because it feels like to me like here, this is a high-pressure cooker that we're at.
Yeah.
And then you go to that event and it's just a little calmer. You know, it's not the same stress level for these guys. So I love going there, you know, and I wrote nothing but positive, and I got hammered for it. And I'm like, look, I get it, but we already all talked about it. Yeah. What is the point of me throwing another log into the fire when we all know already that it was dusty, right?
The horse is dead. Stop beating it. Here's what we can get some positive out of.
I mean,
Matt, how did you miss? Hold on, how did you miss the 150? It was Matt Williamson. There you go. We got you. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so with you. It's like there's just so much
Okay.
So much,
All right.
so much positive or so much negativity out there, and I don't live in that world. And I just, like I said, when I went on that tourism site, I'm like, oh dear God, people, you need to stop. And I
Just
and part
scare
of me-
people away, right?
Oh, it's like it's just bad. And so I went on there and I posted on there. It's like, I'm excited. I'm coming from North Carolina. Came to your town. Give me a couple restaurants to go to. And today I went to Rudy's for lunch, and
Yep.
tomorrow I'm doing Wade's for breakfast.
Wade's, bring cash. It's cash
Okay,
only.
cash only.
Okay, cash only. Just so
I'm
you
in
know,
good shape there, but that's always good
I'm
to
a
know.
local cash only. They do have an ATM. Great food.
Yeah, that's
I
what I
got to
heard.
tell you,
Yeah.
great food.
But when you
great
but when
place
you,
to
when
go.
you have a county and a city that roll out the red carpet for an event like this, let's not get on their page and start bitching about the event.
Right.
You know,
and
it's
again,
like-
I don't understand. Like we bring up that kind of those comments. Like, how can we just let it go? It's done. Like we can't. We didn't have control over it, right?
we are
didn't.
not going back
It's
to
never
run at the Moody Mile.
Right. It's never going to happen
not
again.
Gonna happen.
We didn't look. None of us wanted it to go away, right?
Sure.
Like we didn't want it to leave. We didn't. We wanted forever.
Steve,
I
you
didn't
said
care.
it earlier
I
in
know.
the week.
Right.
I did not
Well,
want
the
it to go
racing-
away, but I
well,
didn't
no,
care
no,
for
look,
the
the racing wasn't that great.
I didn't
Right.
care for the
I'm
racing there.
sorry to all the
Right.
old folks
Yeah.
who thought they're still living in the 80s. The racing sucked.
But
The
but
party
right.
was awesome. The racing was bad.
Right.
You
right,
every
it's fine.
driver from the pro stocks to the big blocks
Yeah.
had to drive and bring a different car, a different body, tune the crap out of their motors. The racing here at Oswego is 1,000 times better
It's so
than we
good here.
ever had
Right.
at the mile. Stop
So-
bitching
right.
about it.
And the
That's
party
my-
here
I'm
is
off
pretty
my-
good, too.
I'm off
The
my
party's
rant.
fine too, right? Now, look, I don't get to do the party that I used to do anymore. You know, being
I don't.
You know, I used to be able to.
Come on. son.
I took care of my fun last week at Williams Grove. I went as a fan. I love the National Open.
National Open is awesome,
The,
yeah.
the National Open is one of my favorite events
Is it
too.
cool?
And I have a great group of friends. We all camp.
Yep.
We're there all day. We just have a blast together. You know, and I like that. I like going. You know, for me, much like I see you do a lot. When you work in the sport so much, going as a fan rejuvenates you.
It's
like
incredible.
It's such a different experience because you just go there to have fun. You sit
is-
down,
yeah.
you have some fries, you have you eat the track
Brickers.
food, and you have a beer and you enjoy it. You know,
This is why I love what I do, because I have to come back and be a fan and do things like that. And that's
Right.
that's what this weekend is exactly.
well then we
yeah.
sucked you in and made you work.
Well, it's all right. No, we're talking racing. My God, we're just sitting around BSing about racing. We'd be doing that anyhow.
Oh
So,
right,
yeah,
I would be.
mean,
I was just doing that over there with my friends that are here. So yeah,
absolutely.
no,
So,
yep, yep.
I just it's so cool. It really truly is, and so much fun to just to see this event. And and man, it's pretty damn good.
It's
pretty
fun.
Damn good.
It's
yeah.
fun. I see a question from James.
Did
Did anyone
anyone
not
not?
pass tech? I think we got the 5-minute warning from Matt Williamson coming. So I'm assuming that
Let's just say he would not be coming to celebrate
if he didn't pass tech, right? So, yeah. So I would say he's coming here, right? 5 minutes, or is everybody good?
Yep.
They're pulling ahead, so that's where they
That's
are
why it's
definitely
taking
pulling
time.
ahead. So he's taking some time, but I'm sure if he's confident enough to tell us 5 minutes, I'm not getting into that yet. We'll ask him about that when he gets here. Okay.
Matt with one T.
Yes.
On the
yes.
check.
Yeah.
Postman, what's your favorite short track?
Favorite short track. All right.
Brewerton Speedway.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
stop! My God, you and Brewerton.
My gosh.
And I love Brewerton, but stop.
I'll tell you. I went to Tulare last year, and that was pretty sporty. Out
Yeah.
in California, that was pretty sporty. This is almost blasphemy for me because I grew up I loved quarter miles. I thought third miles were too big for dirt modifieds, but man, I'll tell you, Port Royal, Knoxville, and I am telling you, when Williams Grove is like it was last week,
It's awesome.
oh my God! And
Yeah.
I don't know if I categorize them. I rate the racetracks and that sort of thing. I'm telling you, I'm so freaking fortunate because I live 20 minutes from a little place called Millbridge,
Yep.
and their Wednesday
Yep.
night micro program is about as good as anything.
What is that, producer? Push him off the stage.
Tyler's watching. I know my man Tyler down there.
Yeah,
It's
he
good,
came. Yeah. I think he came up this summer, right? Yeah, Tyler was up here.
I know a
checking
third
out
of
some
the
modified.
Pennsylvania posse, and they were all talking about how awesome the Grove was.
It was
for
awesome. That's the
National
best
Open.
I've seen the Grove in
years,
a long
probably.
time. Yeah, in a
It
and
was
look,
sporty.
that's what the Grove used to be every time I went there. And and let's be fair, all of us have this wonderful thing. We don't go to Williams Grove every week, right?
No, exactly.
Much like Adam, you go to Brewerton every week. You love it. Like I go to Brewerton a lot. I love it, right? But you get such a different impression of a facility when you don't go there every week,
You do,
right?
you're
Like,
right, yeah.
you get jaded by going there
you
every
do.
race.
You do.
And you're like, you lose the passion for the place. It's like, I'm here every week. Like, look, I announced a Fonda in Utica Rome. I was at Fonda for almost 8 years, 9 years. I was at Utica Rome for 15. I love both those tracks, but you lose that passion for those places because you're there every week. You take it for granted that you have it. But when you go somewhere new, it's like, oh, this place is freaking awesome. Like, for me, I don't know if it's just because I always only go to the Knoxville Nationals, but I hear people talk about Knoxville. It's like, it's okay, whatever. I'm like, this place is amazing.
Yeah, Knoxville.
Like, this is the greatest racetrack in the world. Like, I can't imagine anywhere else. Like, I love going to Knoxville.
My next two are Lincoln, and I've never been to Port Royal. So those are
Port
two I got to
Royal
get off my
Port
list.
Royal's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they all have their characteristics, and when it's kind of the beauty of dirt track racing. You can have a dirt track that's not good at times.
Right.
And when they're right, though, I am telling you, when some place is right, holy God.
I felt bad. So Bobby Sweeney and I made a bonsai run to the High Limit show at Lernerville.
Okay.
It was the middle of the summer. We have the time off because we're both teachers. And I go to him. I go, hey, you want to go to Lernerville tomorrow? He goes, what? I'm like, let's go. It's 5 hours each way. Well, let's just go. And unfortunately, the race was okay. It was average, right? It wasn't the typical Lernerville. It didn't have the big cushion, whatever, right? So it was a little different.
We had a pass in the infield off a turn.
Yeah,
two.
right. Yeah, right.
It must have been those coilover shots.
Right. And he goes, man, this place sucks. Blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, it's one time. You can't judge a place by one race because I've seen so many good races at Lernerville.
Is when that place is on. Oh my God, it's so awesome. Yeah.
So it's like you don't know, right? You got to just say, okay, hey, chalk one up to it was a bad night. Every track has a bad day. Every track has things that it's just not the right day or whatever, And that's what I always try to give tracks passes when they have bad days and mistakes because it's like, why not, right? Oh, boy, we got gasket. Stay over there. This is a professional operation we have going here.
Oh, boy.
I never get nervous. Okay,
absolutely.
So who wants to hop? You want?
I'll hop out.
You're hopping out?
I'll
All right.
hop out. Yep.
All right,
We have
Postman's
the
going to
man,
hop
the myth,
out.
the legend, the man with one T in his name, but multiple 358 Super Dirt Car Series wins. You have nothing to heckle. You won 3 in a row. What are you going to heckle?
Hold
the
on.
fact that he wins too much?
All right, hold on. So, Maddie, just so you know, now we have social down at the bottom there. And all the hard clay guys were waiting for you to get here because they want to make sure you pass tech because they were waiting. Hold on. What do you got?
They're in bed with their sisters at this time.
Yo! You know what? That might have eclipsed Friesen's
last year,
comment from
calling
last year.
Yeah.
Calling them sister kissers, or what was
Yeah.
it?
I've always
he
called
said
them
Yeah,
kissing
you're
their
the
sisters.
sister kisser.
Yeah. So, hey, cheers, man. Congrats.
Thank
I got
you.
These
I
all
cheers
day.
you, but Mallett didn't bring me one.
Hey, my teacher buddy got. He's like, you want to be? I'm like, okay, look, I'm not gonna. First Super Dirt Week for him. I'm not gonna pass up an opportunity to have a beer with him. Right? That's rules, right? Rules,
right.
So, well, first off, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Not done yet. We still got to get through tech, but
Uh-oh.
yeah, the boys are pulling cylinder head off over there, and I figured to come over here and talk to you guys.
Well, what else you got to do?
Right? I can't load it up yet. So
How to feel passing all those cars tonight?
the car was good. It was eventful there at the end. Probably
we'll
made it.
save that. We'll talk about that in a second because you changed your clothes. So did you change your underwear too?
No. The same underwear. Thankfully, I
Because
kept that clean.
and I'll quote Leon Anders on this. I'll give him credit. This is his line. That was a short stainer.
Yeah.
That was the one getting into one you're talking, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's just
Oh,
say
yeah.
the win
You
streaks
went
aren't
one-
the only streaks going on over
You
here.
went one way and he went the same way because you had no idea which way he was going.
That is exactly how I was going to put it. Yeah.
Hey, there it is, Paul. Look at that.
He's got beer ready for it.
We'll drink some beer, Paul, for sure. Yeah. He's one of the good ones. He's one of the ones, he does not sleep with his sister.
Pound what, Sean?
Cheers.
The beer.
Yeah.
No, the car was good. At the start of the race, I didn't feel great. I was just kind of trying to watch ahead of me, but more than I was racing. Figured if I could get by 5 or 6 cars, get me into that top 15 area, we could start racing then because, the cars get a little better and there's less chances that you get in accidents. So I got there and then started rolling and one point I looked up and Shepard was ahead of me, and I'm like, God damn, I think we passed a couple. So that was pretty cool.
Hey, was it 3 in a row last 3 years?
Yes.
I mean, your 358 program is just on point at the end of the day. Obviously, all season long, you run a 358 a lot. You won up at, you win a lot at Ransomville. But now I can't just say you're a 358 guy because you used to call yourself that. But now you're winning big block championships, winning a lot of big block races at Canandaigua. So,
yeah, last year I honestly felt like our 358 program was terrible. Not because motors, not because cars, just because we were trying to do the same things that we would do in a big block and it wouldn't work. We'd tighten the things up so much. And this year I feel like we really focused on keeping the car free and still being into the racetrack. So I think we got it back where it needs to be. And yeah, it's cool to win this. With all the adversity we faced this week, it was kind of icing on the cake. But at the end of the day, tomorrow's the big one.
Talk about the lines you use to get through the field. It seems like you use at some points every lane in one lap, every inch of the racetrack. And especially, can you talk about your line in 3 and 4 sometimes? Was that diamond line working for you?
Yeah, I went out and looked at the racetrack on Sunday night or Monday morning when we got here, and it looked like the banking wasn't consistent across the racetrack. There was banking that was a little bit more degreed than the rest of the racetrack in certain spots. So I think I learned a lot just walking the racetrack on Monday and seeing where the banking was. And when you're out there racing, you can feel that. You can get up above where you think that banking is, and your car slides a little more. And you can get into where that line is, and you can be perfectly good. So, yeah, I think that helped me the most.
I will tell you, Devin Kamengay, who won the Pro Stock, actually credited you because he watched you. Especially there was a line in 3 where it kind of like leveled off in the center. He told us here, me and Steve Post, he'd actually aim for that, feel it with his tire, and then turn down, and it worked for him in the Pro Stocks too.
Yeah, the truck is unique this year, and I think it makes the racing better because last year I didn't think the racing was as good as it could have been for Sunday or Saturday night. It would have been. With Stu leading all the laps, it was like the hole in the 1 would make it so you could just float the middle of 1 and 2, and it was really hard to pass. Tonight, it seemed like it was a lot better,
Yeah, the hole was weird because I think it's moving. Like, it started kind of a lane and a half off the bottom, and now a lane and a half off the bottom, you were still good if you went there, but you had to be way low to get underneath it if you want to miss it.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was moving. It moved down. I in the Super 6 time trials, I drove under it 2 laps with speed. And tonight, I couldn't drive under it. If I went under the hole, my left front would have hit the guardrail. So you're definitely right. It is moving for sure.
So how do you top this now? I mean, and we talked about you today on the pre-race show with Mike Warren and how when bad things happen, they happen at the right times, right? So you had the 358 deal, bad time, awful. You didn't want to have that happen, but right time, go get another car. Then you go out in the big block, you get 1 lap in, and then you get that flat, right time.
Yeah, I mean, in the rebuttal to that is as lucky as we were.
Right.
Everybody's like, oh, the rain came and the rain helped you. Well, they still moved the heats up from when they were supposed to start.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, it has been – you've been fortunate with the situations, and that's what it takes, though, to win these races, win championships, because when Matt Shepard was winning as much as he was, same kind of thing would happen, right? Like, he'd get that flat tire right after the checkered, or right? Like, it would, right?
Yeah, the big block deal, we still only got 1 time trial lap. Luckily, our first lap was good enough to lock us into that Super 6, and then we had enough time to change it before they sent the Super 6 out. And then Justin and Mark get flat tires, and they didn't get time to change their tire, so I thought that was kind of weird. I thought that they should.
Well, Mark was a little worse than just a
Mark
tire.
definitely wasn't going to get it. I went and asked Justin. I'm like, did they tell you couldn't, go out after a change tire? But I don't think they got the tire changed until after the Super 6. But yeah, Shepard had some bad luck, but his bad luck happened at the right time too. He locks himself into the front row, quick time, and then
still got to start on the
still
pole.
gets to start on the pole. And if that happens 15 laps later, he doesn't even start the race essentially. So.
Does everything that happened this week, does that make this one a little sweeter?
Absolutely. With everybody at home, Wayne Kahn and Stan Zankin, getting the car to my dad, Ray and Anthony, to meet halfway and get here for the heat race, and then everybody that worked really hard in the pit area to make sure that we could race the heat race. Just a total team effort. I can't say enough about my guys. I'm super proud of them, and we got some work to do this week. They're pulling a cylinder head over there in the tech tent. So
that's gonna make Brockville fun, won't it?
Well, I think they said something about clinching the championship already. So
All right.
If we did that, I told Dean I was pissed off. I'm like, I'm not even going to go to Brockville. So
you say that today. You're like
know.
every other
I was heated,
driver.
just-
I'm going to be mad. I'm going to scream at you. Give me my 5 minutes to scream at you. Okay, you're just like one of the kids in school when they get mad at me.
No,
they need
what
their
will
5
happen-
minutes to yell at me, and I tell them, go out the hallway.
Now what's going to
Then I
happen
go out
is
in the
your wife
hallway,
is
and
going
they're
to say,
like,
all right.
Mr. Mallett, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Can I come? Can I come back in?
we came to an agreement over there. I just said, like, I've never been in a race before where they've just teched the winner. Like, do 3, do 2, do 5, like, tech everybody. You know, obviously the W16s are a little different. They're a sealed motor. They would have to send them out. They can't pull a head off. But the top 3 were spec motors. I felt like if you're going to pull one head, pull 3. And I don't think anybody's cheating, but I think that it feels a lot like a witch hunt to me. And that's what I was upset about. But luckily Terry Vince is here, and he's over there working, and I'm sitting here drinking beer with you guys.
You inspired a question I asked a couple different drivers in our second pre-race show today. If you were the head of DIRTcar Northeast and you had the opportunity to change one thing, what would it be? What would Matt Williamson change?
I had to get rid of the left side Panhard bar.
Well, Larry White said as much.
I just like getting him going. That is my favorite thing when we're joshing a little bit, busting some chops.
I would probably change the tire rule at certain racetracks. Like I would make mandatory harder tires at places that rubber up. Like Thunder Mountain, for example. I think if we went to Thunder Mountain, we all ran 400s.
Don't get him started on Thunder
No, it's
Mountain.
okay.
It
You
might
can say
not
whatever
rubber.
he wants here.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if we went to...
But does it rubber or does it clean off? Would it not clean off with a 500?
So at the race that you got me to go to, I
Yeah.
wore my rear out.
It
So
did-
I
it
think
did rubber there. Yeah,
right?
right.
So not even
But the
Thunder Mountain
series
because that
race,
hits
though-
close to home.
No. I'm okay with it. I can take criticism on like him. If you talk bad about Brewerton, he'll cry.
Canada
Okay.
rubber.
Hey, but Matt, you can't talk bad about Brewerton, can you?
There's not really much bad to say about that place.
Oh, would you stop? Okay.
It does get rough getting in the
Next
one.
thing you know,
That's the
you
only
guys will
thing
be
that's
talking
bad about that
changing
place.
diapers up
Becky
here.
Marie on Facebook says, just snuggle that baby instead of going to Brockville. Well, what I was about to say is, if he stays home from Brockville, his wife's going to go like this, and she's going to go somewhere and spend that Super Dirt Week money. Let's be honest.
She deserves it after this week. That's for
Don't
sure.
mind me getting rid of my can. I'll pick it up later.
She's been a single mom basically down there. And when we raced the CW6 car, there's a lot less stress on me because it's not mine. You know, them guys work on it really hard, and they make sure that it'll finish the race. In this car, my guys work really hard, but I pay the bills. So I got to be like, hey, let's replace that instead of trying to be cheap, you know. So there's a lot more stress to me this week just racing our car. And I thank Natalie for, being super mom.
Paul DeMott asked on Facebook, is that the same as the Outlaw winning car? And I think we've answered that.
Yeah, it was last time.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
same,
Yeah.
same
Same
car. We
deal.
didn't plan on racing it this week, but here we are.
Hey, Ron Savoy watching from Texas. Thank you for watching from Texas. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we're having fun with the comments. We like reading
Yeah.
the comments and asking. And if anybody's got a question for Matt Williamson while he's here, get him in there, and we'll watch him scroll through, and we'll get him for you. I'm seeing a lot of congratulations on them, which
Yeah.
for you is pretty good because normally it's more of got the same guy again. Sick and tired of the same 2 guys winning every race.
They also say we start on the pole all the time, so hopefully that comment, I don't want to see that comment on Facebook at all tonight, that we started on the pole and won another
Look,
race.
start on
Actually,
the
you're
pole.
not hard charger, believe it or not. Felix Waugh beat you by a spot.
Really? That's
Really?
good.
Yeah,
Feel-
and Alex would have beat you. Well, I don't know how that would have worked because Alex got put to the rear for hitting the hammer on the starter because it wouldn't work.
That's
And
how he got the car
and that's
started.
how he ended up. Right. That again.
that's
That's what
kinda
I've heard from reliable sources. I haven't talked to Alex. But
Somebody wants the winner's hat. I want the winner's hat. That's a sweet-looking hat.
This is just my regular hat.
This
My
is-
other one
No,
got beer
the-
on it.
The
yeah.
winner's hat. Yeah, they made you change it.
Yeah, they did. I asked them. I said, "Can I get another one?" So yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
I got to bring one home to Wayne and Zankin.
But yeah. So
Peter Britton, going back to the one thing you would change, he would change the whole fact of aluminum blocks in the motors. he hates the fact that the small blocks get the weird weight break and it's different everywhere, and it should just be 2,400 and open it up a little bit.
I agree with allowing aluminum blocks for big blocks as well, because we're buying steel blocks and then you have to spend $5,000 to lighten them, and
I think
you can't
that was
repair
his
them.
point, that
Yeah.
everybody would
I
have an
agree with that.
aluminum
No,
block.
for sure.
But my
Yep.
question with that is, we are in weird topics right now because
We're all over.
Yeah, but would that mean instead of rebuilding my big block every 800 to 1,000 laps, I got to rebuild it at 500?
I don't think so.
No, I'm just asking.
I don't
I'm
know
asking
enough
because I
about
always know the difference between big blocks and small blocks is small blocks you got to rebuild more than a big block.
Or refresh. rather.
Refresh.
I've had small blocks that I put 2,300 laps on that ripped at the 2,300 lap mark. We were winning. I think I would have been. I think the year that I won when we raced Weedsport, Utica, Brewerton satellite shows, I think that motor had 2,300 laps on it when we won them races. So.
Zach Roberts on Facebook. Matt, did you actually have a vibration, or was that your in your head?
I mean, it made it 150 laps, so I would imagine it was in my head. But yeah, it's these cars. They're so weird that when you're in the lead and when you're driving through the things like a Cadillac, when you get to the lead, it's like, oh, there's a smoke. There's something on my shield that's coming from the motor. There's vibrations in my butt. There's vibrations in my hands.
My nose is itching.
Yeah. It's you feel everything when you get to the lead. So obviously it made it till the end. So don't think anything catastrophic is wrong.
Well, they're going to tell you if it is because they're pulling it apart.
Well, I don't think it was motor anyways. It's weird because you can get a piece of mud in the wheel, or a lot of my wheels are older. And
You want to answer that question, Matt?
I don't know who that guy is.
Paul
Sean?
Lawrence?
He
Never
knows
heard of
who
her.
that is. Yeah,
You know
he
who
does
Paul
know who
is.
that is.
Never heard of her.
Matt, Ryan Nichols, if you're delivering, we need 2 at least.
I'll take one, too.
I actually should probably get back to the Tech 10. I think they probably got that head off by now.
Yeah, so. Well, that's fine, buddy. We'll let you
Yeah.
go. We'll let you. Yeah,
Get
Our producer in our ear said, "Get a
All the
wireless
arguments-
camera. Let's go."
The arguments are done already.
Now
It
that would have been
cool
a
to
great
see the
B-roll right
argument.
there, right? Letting you go over there, and then we'll record that you screaming at people.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
it was very cool. Mike Welch is a racer. He knows.
Right,
You
he
know what I
gets
mean?
it,
Like,
right.
I just told him straight up. I said, Mike, you race. If you win 5 races at Ransomville, and then all of a sudden they say, hey, we're gonna inspect your motor, and you're gonna have to spend money to put it back together, but nobody else is, you're gonna be upset. And he gets
Right.
it. He's not unreasonable. He's very reasonable to talk to. And I said to Dean, you've been racing probably 50 years. Like, you get it. You know what I mean? You understand why I'm upset. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think that there was any other cars that should have been tech because they were illegal. I just think that it takes the headhunt part out of it. And
I got another one
Whatever.
for you. Who was, out of all the cars you passed tonight, I'm going to put you on the spot with this one. Who was the hardest one to pass?
I can tell you that. You don't even need to answer it.
I
The
know.
117. No offense. I'm just saying that was the scariest moment of the race.
Did you
I
pucker a
agree
little
with you
bit?
Yeah, because he
100%,
went in
yes.
and
Yeah.
it looked like he missed where he was going, and the car just skated on him. And you weren't sure which way he was going, and you chose I'm going this way, and he went that way.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
I mean that's
is
the fairest
correct.
way to say
Yes.
it. Like, yeah, it was just
Other than him, then.
The
last lap.
11S was a little tough too.
Yeah.
I mean, he was tough too. That's all right. I don't need to. These guys are trying hard. There's no
Right.
point in jaw
Well,
jacking them.
I thought you were going to say the 78 because you and him at one point had a heck of a battle.
Yeah, Alex was really good. Luckily on that restart, I could get that brown off of 2, and it would give you so much more momentum to the back straight that it would feel like you were carrying 10 more mile an
You
hour.
shot
again.
to the inside, yeah.
And them guys,
Becky Marie. That was funny. I'll give you that.
Tech tents and sunsets.
I'm not going to say a word. We should cut this over now. I'm going to get myself into trouble with that one. All right. I'm going back to tech.
You're done. We finally found something. Matt Williamson is
Who would've
speechless
thought-
after that.
Who would have thought that is what got Matt off the show?
Funny story. So I actually said to Dean one time after we raced at Albany, Saratoga, at 1:30 in the morning, I think the race is finished. I said, Dean, maybe if we took less pictures of sunsets and more giddy up here on these programs, we might be able to keep some fans in the stands for the features.
So what you're saying is you'd move up the start time to all Super DIRTcar Series races
just
if you were
not up. I would just try and get the program No, they in all honesty, I don't want to talk
Now
about
we're
it.
just
They
busting on
They
it.
do a
Look,
good
we're
job.
busting
you know.
chops, and everything we say here, joking, picking on Dean, I've already said, so you don't have to worry
Right.
about it.
The whole crew,
Dean and I have been friends for 20 years, so I worked for Dean with ESS, I've made a lot of ball busting,
Right.
there, right? So, he knows.
No, Tim Farrell, like him and Tim Farrell.
That's
and
my next post. Bet.
everybody. Everybody from DIRTcar does a good job most of the time. I don't agree with doing the Le Mans on school nights. I think that is
Louder for those in the back.
something that there's what I would change.
There's my soapbox.
If I was the director of the Northeast, I would save the 4 wides for Charlotte, maybe Oswego, and I would not do the Le Mans on school nights.
Okay, with a man with 2 kids that falls asleep to dirt vision 9 times out of 10, the Le Mans at 11 o'clock is 9
No,
times
that does not happen.
out
The
of 10
time is
why I forget
9:30,
it.
and the only
Yes.
reason I know that because Billy Decker used to complain when it was after 9 o'clock. Because Billy is a big, I got to be to bed by 10.
The Le Mans is boring. It's boring.
Did you?
I really do think it's boring.
I had a small vote into
Oh.
the get rid of it for Outlaw Weekend. I hope you appreciated that.
I'm not sure yet on that question. I'm not sure. What
Brent, he
car at
doesn't
this
know
point.
yet. Not
Yeah.
sure on Eastern States.
I will be there. The big block we're going to run the Barrett 3.
Oh,
for
you
the
didn't
Short
get
Track
fired from
Series.
that ride?
No, I did not get fired from that ride, contrary to what. Area
Oh,
Auto
look at
put.
that. Hard clay observer, wrong
yeah,
again.
Contrary to what that said. But the small block, we're not sure. I think the plan right now is to put a W16 in the iBox 6. That's
Okay.
our hopeful plan. So, yeah, we'll see. My phone's ringing again.
All right. Well, if you want to go, buddy, you can go.
Ray. All right.
Yeah, that means you got to go.
Yeah. Hopefully
Hey,
it's
buddy.
good news.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Good job, Matt.
Appreciate it.
I think we could take it live and it'd be a hell of a conversation. Postman, pop back in and we'll wrap this up. So yeah, they were checking heads. If you missed that, I saw the comment. They're checking heads over there. I think I did see. Did Dominic Lucier get disqualified today after qualifying
did.
for being 1 pound light? Somebody was asking.
Yes, that was the one
if anybody
DQ
got
I've seen
DQ'd.
all weekend.
Yeah, I did see that. So, but let's ready to put a bow on this thing, Postman.
That's
What do
all
you
good,
think?
man. I'll tell you what, we got a big day tomorrow. That's the thing. It's like this has been an awesome day with the Pro Stocks and with the 358s, and we teed up with the Sportsmen and the Modifieds tomorrow. So, I mean, it's just how much fun. This is just so cool.
I had a blast. I mean, I got here late. Got here a little grumpy. My sleep schedule's a little messed up. You know, again, it's great because I'm staying in town. But then you got a bunch of work to do when you get back. You stay up a little later than you should. And then that alarm goes off, and I'm like, ugh. And then first period, you have kids being miserable with you, and I'm like, I'm not dealing with this today.
You travel some, and then you're staying at home. Are home races better or more difficult, more challenging than traveling races?
So for me, I like going on the road personally.
Yeah.
Like I like being on the road. If I can go home, I will go home.
Same thing.
Like if I like, we do PA Speed Week for Sprint Car Unlimited TV, powered by DTD TV, and usually we will come home after the last race. Like I'll drive straight back, straight home,
You're done,
not staying, not sleeping. But if I also don't hate living out of a hotel for 3 or 4 days. I find that fun too, especially if I'm in a new place. Because during the day, if you don't have much to do, you can go check out some stuff, and and I like Speed Week because we kind of get a day in between each race. So then we go to Lincoln on Monday, and I go as a fan.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah,
right. Then we do. We have Grandview. Then Wednesday, what was it this year? Port Royal. Then we can do every other night, so it's nice. It's fun.
I'm unfortunately the opposite, living 3 minutes from Brewerton.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That's super convenient. And there's been a couple nights where I've gone from Brighton Speedway in Ontario back home.
That's a haul.
And I'll start at 2 a.m. just to be home.
Yeah.
And those are some miserable car
See,
rides.
me,
So
I'm a big summertime traveling. I'll drive all night. Like I am a night guy.
nighttime driver.
I
Yeah.
will leave.
I used to be,
like
but
we
not anymore.
leave for Knoxville. My buddy Jeff Sasquatch works till midday, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Yeah,
He's at
called
my
you
house by
when you were on the
5, 6
road.
o'clock, and we'll leave at 6, and I'll drive.
Yeah.
And I'll drive straight through, and I'll get us to the world's largest truck stop about 7 in the morning.
Right.
Sun comes up, I'm like a vampire, man. Kryptonite. I'm done.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be able to drive. I would leave Oswego. I'd leave Fulton Drive. I lived in Scranton. I would drive no problem at all. Now I'm telling you what, if it's more than 45 minutes, I'm either going to leave or I put myself on a curfew.
Right.
There's times I'll put myself on a curfew if I'm not working the race, or then just to a hotel. It's just it's just life has changed as far as that goes. But the other thing is like working on the road with MRN. Like Charlotte is the most disjointed weekend because your credential is not on the nightstand in the hotel room, because this, that, and the other thing,
You know what I do with this? I take this off in my truck and I hang it on the mirror.
You put it on the truck, right? Yeah.
Put it right on the mirror because I know if I don't, I'll leave it sitting on the table.
Yeah.
I'll get all the way here, and then I'll be like, son of a...
I learned this when we first had kids, and I go home and I had my NASCAR credential and I set it down and I get up in the morning and it's early and there's no credential. I can't find the credential. I'm tearing the house apart, trying to be quiet, waking everyone up, trying to be quiet. Everyone's pissed off. Everyone's mad and everything. One of my little girls, hey, look, it's a picture of Daddy. Took it up to her room.
What is the worst travel schedule for you out of your history? What is the track where you're like, oh, well, maybe I don't want to ask you this question over the air. It's like, oh, that one's the most difficult travel as far as like getting there and getting back.
We're spoiled rotten with MRN. I truly am. We literally fly home on a private charter. I mean, it's like now West Coast trips I'll fly. This is not bad at all. The worst right now, and again, it's not bad, is Phoenix because bless my heart, I have to stay over Sunday night, and I fly home commercially on Monday. No, we don't have any bad MRN. We did a phase. I'll tell you what used to be bad, driving from Talladega to Charlotte. Talladega to Charlotte was bad. You'd be good the first hour into Atlanta. You'd come up out of Atlanta into South Carolina, and the next thing you know, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're rolling the windows down, you're doing everything.
Get a Monster, maybe a Red Bull.
Well, the reason why I asked, driving back from the Glen this year, Kyle Rickey blew my doors off in a rental car.
Kyle Rickey, yeah, exactly. But I'm driving along. I kid you not. I'm driving along, and I'm like, screw this. I'm getting a hotel room, and the company is good with it. I get a hotel room, and this is back when Facebook was first starting, and I put a picture and said I could make it only to Clemson, South Carolina, and that sort of thing. I had people are like, oh, Postman, you're an hour and a half from home. Come on, suck it up and deal. Buddy of mine, an engine builder of mine, posts a picture of a truck embedded in a bridge abutment, and he said, good call. I tried to drive home from Talladega one night, fell asleep, 6 weeks in the hospital, 9 months of therapy, wasn't worth the hour and a half to get home.
Right.
And so, but I think everyone, you do your own thing. You do you.
Yeah,
if that works good for you, you do you. You know, whatever it is. And that's what, and we're fortunate. I don't have bad travel stories anymore other than occasional flight delay.
You got 45 minutes to the hotel. You me okay?
I'm going to be just, it's borderline. I'm all right.
If we don't wrap this up,
we might have to wrap this.
I may have to stop in Fulton on the way just to get some, so
hey,
it's
Mike,
cool.
you think, Brent, don't be asking me that. Do you want me to cry on this show? Like that, the Eastern States questions always get me. And I don't know.
But here's the problem. We thought the last Eastern States was 4 years ago. We thought the last Eastern States, I don't know.
But that's why I try to cherish everyone I go to, because you don't know.
You don't know, absolutely.
You don't know. And they don't know, right? They don't know. It's all about land sales and values and all this other stuff.
Same thing's happening with Albany, Saratoga.
Right,
Let's be honest. We thought last year was the last year.
You don't know.
It's this year.
You don't know. With the way the world is now and the value of the property that racetracks are on in a lot of these places, these used to be the middle of nowheres, and now they're places that matter.
Yeah, exactly.
They're in the middle of city. Like Albany is in a prime location. Middletown is a prime location if you want to build a lot of stuff.
Middletown was a prime location 25 years ago. It's miraculous.
Apple pie is better, Paul.
Apple pie. Apple pie.
I built my house 8 years ago, and again, I am literally 2.5 miles from the Speedway. I had my neighbors come up to me like a year and a half ago. What is that noise? I'm like, do you not see the uniform on my shirt pulling out of the driveway every Friday night? You had no idea you are about 2 miles from a racetrack that's been here since the 50s. Like, how did you not do that research before you bought your house?
We have North Carolina passed a rule 2 weeks ago that you cannot complain about a motorsports facility if you move in next to one.
Good.
They literally
wasn't that
did this.
happening at Millbridge? There was issues.
It's going to positively impact it. It's not related to it. We have all of this happening. We have the same thing happening where people are moving in, and we're very fortunate in North Carolina. We have a very motorsports is huge there.
Right.
Right.
It's the lifeblood of the
city.
city.
Yes, it is exactly. Right. And so our lobbying agency or whatever it is for motorsports, and the mayor or the governor, and the irony of it is we have a Democratic governor in the state of North Carolina that could come to a NASCAR race and get rave reviews because he's very pro racing as far as that goes, and he understands that. But they actually did that, and so there's tracks. Millbridge has some neighborhood problems. There's a little track, I'm telling you, Wake County Speedway in Raleigh. You want to talk about encroachment? I mean, they are there. Right. They're at the doorstep. The problem is this: the place this year had the 2 biggest crowds in the history of the place. I was there for the season finale a month ago. I've never seen it. At 8 o'clock on Friday night, they're saying, don't come to the racetrack. There's no more parking. There's no more seats. There's no more anything. Track is thriving and succeeding. They run a great program. They're done at 10:30 on Friday night. They're a good neighbor and everything, but the neighborhood is encroaching. And literally when this thing passed, I was talking to Charlie, the guy who runs the place. He said, dude, this might have saved this. This may very well have saved this racetrack.
For us here, we talk a lot about Oswego. And what is neat about Oswego, my buddy was here and his dad, they were having a blast. Yeah. In the city, everybody in the city here, I'm not going to say everybody. I have some students actually live over there off the backstretch. Yeah. And they talk, Mr. Mallett, it's so loud. But it's really cool that all these people are here, you can hear the band and all this stuff. And they love it. But they also understand how much this brings to their community.
Yep.
And now look, in a normal summer, they race here every Saturday or 10 times, whatever. Yep. But this week, is it a little bit of a nuisance? Yeah, it's loud. It's there's music.
It's one time a year.
But it's one time a year, and they look at the economic impact and how important that is.
Yeah.
And
they understand it.
They understand it.
To me, it's a good lesson that we can teach kids and teach people is to understand that money is value, tourism is value, and it means something to the community and everything. I'll leave this topic, and I saw Tyler posted it. Yeah, a couple years ago, we thought Grandview was done. Right. Exactly, and Mahoning Valley is for sale. So you never know when your racetracks go. Enjoy them, that's for sure. Funniest thing, we have in Harrisburg, North Carolina, we have the most Karen and Richard filled Facebook group, the Harrisburg Forum. It is. My God, if the coffee at Starbucks is 3 degrees off from where it's supposed to be, the site is boiling down. Okay, so we have Charlotte Motor Speedway is right there, right Moorhead Road. You go at Charlotte Motor Speedway and everything like this. And what is this noise? What is it? They're on there doing this and that sort of thing. Some old bird, and I looked up his profile. And you can see this is an old crotchety guy that's lived there forever.
Get off my lawn.
If you bought your house prior to 1961, bitch away. If you bought your house since 1961, you bought a house by a racetrack, dumbass.
Yeah.
And I was just like, go, my man there. I was like, the only thing I couldn't find is his address because I was going to go to his house and shake his hand. But it was just, but if you bought your house, if you moved in here since 1961, you're a dumbass because you moved in next to a racetrack. I just thought that was the best answer ever.
So I visited Charlotte last month. I went to a couple spots, and I got talking to this guy at the mall at the die-cast shop. And then he was like, yeah, I'm a transplant from Buffalo. It's great. And he's like, I lived here when you could take the dirt road from the Speedway to the mall, and now it's all filled with condos. And then later that night, I'm at the bar with my wife and a couple friends, and I'm talking to the bartender. I'm like, I'm from New York. This is great. And she's like, you're from New York? Stay there. She goes, don't bring anything you got in New York to here. You are not welcome. And I was like, whoa, too many people, too many transplants that don't understand how North Carolina does it.
We got it good down there. It's good. Yep.
Well, guys, we've digressed enough here. We've had a great time. But thank you again for everybody tuning in. Thanks for all the great comments. I mean, it's been awesome.
It's fun.
You see me looking down because my monitor's right here in front of me. I've been reading them all night. That's awesome. We love the fact, we're trying to innovate, trying to make this show a little bit different for you and more fun. And hopefully you're enjoying the fact that we can get your comments and we can get guys to comment. We can comment on them, so it's been a blast for us.
I think it's great you get a chance to talk to Matt and to Devin, too. The two big winners today. I mean, seriously, we had the two big winners today on the show. I think that is fantastic. So
And don't forget, tomorrow we'll be live in the morning. We're going to have another pre-race show. We're hoping about 11 o'clock. So if you're looking for something to do, don't worry. We'll have a long lit. Like tomorrow's the day. I think last year we did about 2.5 hours. So we were live. We just run it. We go, and we'll have a whole list of guests for you. We'll do our best to post who we're able to get. But for Adam Buchanan, for the Postman, my name is Mike Mallett. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. And again, stay tuned to DIRTtrackDigest.com for all the latest news, notes, results, and quotes. And hey, have a safe night, have a fun night, and we'll see you for one more night here from Super Dirt Week 53.